Hello and welcome to the Eye Candy channel. We've received a request for a video to be done on the 15mm f1.7 lens. It's a tiny little lens, but our one's quite rigged up. It's got a step-up converter, which is basically it's a 46mm diameter to 72mm diameter, because my variable ND filter is 72mm and I didn't want to spend more money on a new one. So obviously the best thing to do is to buy one of these for like $1, and then it basically makes your lens be able to use a filter which is for a 72mm, which normally I would use on the Sigma 18 to 35. So this variable ND filter is going to come in really handy when using it on a gimbal, because I'm always looking to get that 1/50 shutter speed. I don't like cranking up the shutter speed. It just makes each frame look too separate from the previous one. So this ND filter is going to help a lot. So this lens is the Lumix 15mm f1.7. It's going to be used on a gimbal, and we're going to do some slider kind of shots, and we're going to do like a few different shots to see how good this lens performs as a lens in general, as well as a lens on a gimbal. We're going to be testing autofocus with the Panasonic GH4, and we're going to try a few of the different autofocus features to see how this lens can perform for a lens on a gimbal. It's extremely light. It's about 250 grams, so it's going to make your work a lot easier to do. Okay, let's jump straight into the field and have a look at this. The f1.7 gives you an amazing depth of field, and it's always going to be centered because that's the option that best works with Panasonic cameras. So as I move up, you'll see that the focus starts to move according to where I kind of move the camera. So let's say I moved it to this 15 number here, and that would be the dead center. That would be the thing in focus. If you want to see focusing speeds, let's move and see how fast we can get to the change. Okay, I'm not sure if I can change the speed of focusing. There is a certain benefit of it moving slowly though, because let's say you wanted to do like a focus pull. Having said that, using the controls on the gimbal, which is connected to my Panasonic camera, I can actually control what's going to stay in focus. So for example, I can click the button on my gimbal, which is going to maintain focus in one specific area, and I can even touch the screen. So let's say I wanted this area here to remain in focus. I would actually click my screen on that area exactly there, and then no matter what I would do, even if it would move up, for example, if I would go like this, if I would move up, it would maintain focus on that specific area down there, because that's what I've actually picked. Or if I'd want, for example, the 15 to be in focus permanently, I would actually click on my camera on that 15 area, and then I would have that in focus, and regardless whether I would come closer or would move the camera, that 15 would just remain in focus. So that's an interesting way of being able to use the gimbal with this to make like really special shots. Let's try mix around a bit more and see what kind of focusing we can get. So I'm going to click on the camera. It says on the camera it says AF off. When you click on that on the screen itself, it actually just goes to the center. So whatever's in the center of the frame will be in focus. So let's have a look. We're looking to see if we can get something out of focus. We're at f1.7 right now. Let's try and get like, okay, I'm gonna go outside to get some better shots, some better footage. This review is made for Leo Cinematography in the UK. It was a special request made for him, and so just before we go down and outside, I'm just going to quickly put in the center different things just to show how quickly we can get the focus. Alright, we're going outside. Alright, we've begun the recording. I'm going to set the ND filter to give a good exposure. I don't want anything overexposed. And now we're going to be testing the focus peaking and the focusing of this camera with the f1.7 15mm lens. So first, let's try and get this flower in focus right at the middle. Okay, so we can see, let's try and do like a kind of slider to the right shot with this gimbal. as you can see, it actually refocuses. So let's try again. Let's see how long it takes to focus back on a flower. Okay, it looks like it's having a bit of a hard time, but in the end it got it. I guess that's not so great. If you can see, it's like changing focus from one thing to the next as I move. I mean, it's set to focus dead center right now. Yeah, that's exactly what's in the center right now according to the camera. Okay, so we're gonna move right slowly and see how it kind of focuses on different things as I go. Alright, let's do like one of those from the fence outwards kind of focusing. So right now I was hoping it would focus on something a bit closer. Like for example these leaves on the left here. And then as I turn the camera around, I'm expecting the camera to focus outwards more. Right, because we're on a sunny day and we're at f1.7, we're still expecting focus. Why? Because we're using an ND filter. So let's say we were focusing on this. There we go. I clicked on the camera. Okay, so let's say I move now left and back. So it's interesting, I actually have quite a lot of control of the focus features on this recording because there we go. Okay, we're mimicking a slider shot with this lens, and if you can see, we're getting a depth of field outdoors, and we're at shutter speed f is 1/50th of a second. So I'm gonna demonstrate a fake slider shot. I'm gonna move right. As you can see, it's kind of pulling focus really nicely. I still have to check whether or not the depth of field on this is fast or too slow. And if it's too slow, then I could possibly speed it up. Okay, we're going to try doing a focus pull from the floor. So I can get lower. Okay, so right now it should be focusing somewhere near the floor. And as I move up, should be getting the depth of field should be moving. It's interesting. Okay, let's try again with the van this time. I'm doing like a slider kind of shot. And there we go. Alright, that concludes the tests that we're doing with this lens. It should be interesting also to see whether or not we're getting like what kind of stability we're getting when I'm walking with this setup, whether or not the footage is stable, jerky, jittery, anything like that, and just to make sure that this is a good decision if this is a lens that you're considering. So that concludes our tests. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.